On the website of Voyage Comics, their mission statement states, Voyage is a Catholic publishing company that produces quality comics and books for kids of all ages, inspiring them to lead lives of heroic virtue. On their website, they also have the origin story. Their writer, Philip, started Voyage in 2018 when he saw a desperate need for stories that effectively convey truth beyond beauty and goodness. Desiring to inspire his own children with traditional family values, he was frustrated with the vast amount of comic book heroes who compromised their values or were portrayed in an overly sexualized way. What began with a single comic book, Finian in the Seven Mountains, has now turned into the largest Catholic comic book company in the world. Our titles feature a variety of genres, including saints, superheroes, and fantasy. Now, there are many superhero comics out there, and as time goes on, the quality of storytelling and comics made for kids of all ages seem to go down. And today I'm presenting Voyage Comics. Now, I really enjoy what they do, and I believe they can fill that gap. And if you like what you see, I have a referral link in the description where you can get 10% off your order. And I will be 100% truthful with my reviews, and I will be giving constructive feedback when I can. Just because I have a referral link does not mean I'll be a yes man for them, and whatever they make, I will tell you if it's something's wrong with it. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's a great product, even though I skipped half the book I'm telling you about. I'm going to tell you my 100% unfiltered thoughts and how things can be fixed, or if it's really good, stuff like that. Now, on to the first book. In a culture where good and evil are often blurred, we need to get back to the basics and highlights superheroes who do not waver in their battle for justice. This is the quote in the back of the book, and I truly love this because there are a lot of heroes, mostly anti-heroes now at this point, that don't act like heroes or completely ignore their morals or promote bad ones. As well as there's too much of this mentality that making characters depressed, gritty, morally gray, and so-called realistic makes a good story. To me, it just makes how it's done now, it just makes it look lazy. We start off the story with the cops chasing a thief, but when it looks like he's going to get away, the Phantom Phenix gets to him first, and the cops are greeted with their thief tied up to a chair. After that, we see Phantom Phenix feel something's off about these criminals. They seem more brazen by the day. He then goes to a priest that knows his secret identity, Father Carl. He's told to analyze these crimes and to see what connects them, what is similar. The Phantom Phenix, or Martin, his real name, asks Saint Joseph to help him find what he's missing. Meanwhile, the leader of the crime organization brings in a specialist to clip the Phantom Phoenix's wings. The next night, our hero sees another bank robbery chase, but this time it was a trap for him. He has become surrounded by a bunch of armed mobsters, but he's prepared as he throws a flashbang to stun them. He finishes them off, and as he's finishing off the last mobster, the cops arrive, but instead of helping him, Officer Smith shoots at him and knocks out Officer O'Malley. When the Phantom Phoenix sees this, he uses a smoke bomb to escape, but with his prosthetic leg's gas piston destroyed, he has to limp away. As he's running away, he tosses his headgear away inside a trash can, but as he's running, he bumps into a female officer. She then helps him get home, which is under a church, and he lets her know of the cop hitting another cop, of the possible corruption within the police department. And later that night, the corrupt cop comes to the mobsters and to the mob boss, saying that he has the Phantom Phoenix's hat and goggles, and using this, they can stop the Phantom Phoenix with their new secret plan that is to be continued in issue 2. This is what I've been looking for. This is what other Catholic superheroes should be. This is how priests should be portrayed in media, because I have talked to priests, deacons, sisters, friars, and Catholic monks, young and old, and they have always been so helpful. They have always been kind. The Phantom Phoenix is what I thought Daredevil was going to be in his show and comics, but from the comics I've read, there's no sign of him being religious, and the TV show was the worst representation of not only the priests and nuns, but the stories in the Bible they referenced have been butchered. The first issue was amazing. Not only the story and pacing, but also the art is perfect. I highly recommend the Phantom Phoenix. As of the first issue, I can't see him being a copy of any other hero, so that is a good sign. I give it a rating of 9 out of 10. Now we move on to Metal Knight. On the cover of issue number 2, he's got a motorcycle and his armor on, which looks pretty cool. On issue 3, he's got a sword, which finishes the knight part of his name. So he's a modern knight, his motorcycle being his horse, and I think that's pretty cool. The Metal Knight story begins with our main character Max working on the final touches on a robot that can do whatever you tell it to, because his boss Monsieur Gustave believes there will be a market for them. When he goes home after a successful test, he tells his mom that there's something fishy going on, something Mr. Schlet and Gustave are not telling him, and why they're so eager on it doing whatever they want them to. The next day, he catches Mr. Schlet using his robot to steal from a vault. He then takes back the microphone and tells the robot to drop everything and get on his motorcycle. A chase is now on. As mobsters try to shoot him down, he finds out that the material he made the robot out of is bulletproof, and he manages to escape on a boat. But on his landing, his robot is destroyed, shattered to pieces. When he returns home the next morning, he finds out that they kidnapped his mom, and if he wants to see her alive again, he must give the robot back. And it ends off with Max armored up, using his robot as a suit. There's not much I can say about the Metal Knight because nothing really happens. I do like how he doesn't want anyone to use his invention for evil, but the robot was only used to steal cash. If that's all they wanted was to steal cash, then why don't just sell the robot and make that the business? And why were they so adamant on the time for the robot being ready? Because when they give it to their soon-to-be victim, it's at his house, and it doesn't look like it's time and limited event. So I hope the second issue would fix these problems. So with that being said, I give Metal Knight number 1 a 6 out of 10. I do believe issue number 2 would pick it up, and I believe issue number 2 would be just as good as Phantom Phoenix, just because he's suiting up and he's going to be saving his mom. And that's going to be an action-packed issue. It is out, so that's something I do have to get. So moving on the recording, if you hear a dog in the background, like barking, that's the entire neighborhood's dogs barking. I had to wait like 20 minutes before it calmed down to this level. The mailman's walking by, and at this point, all these dogs bark at anyone that walks by. So if you hear a dog in the background, that's why. And I don't want to wait another 20 minutes to wait for it to cool down. So next up is Lionette. The story starts with the main character, Mitzi, performing in the circus as an acrobat, performing impossible moves while blindfolded. But we find out, after the show, she is forcefully employed by the ringmaster, and they want her to join them on the train robbery, because her skills as an acrobat could be very vital to the success of that heist. But she refuses, and he reminds her that she's alone, for her parents are in Germany and her brother fled and never came back for her. She's also introduced to her new roommate, a man-eating lion named Brutus. And as he walks away, he mocks her, calling her Lionette. Later, at the evening show, she's too lost in thought. She loses focus and messes up her performance. In return, after the show, she is thrown into the same cage as the lion. But what they didn't expect is for her to befriend Brutus. In retaliation, the ringmaster tries to shoot her, but Brutus saves her, and they escape to the city. The story ends off with the ringmaster telling his crew to both bring Brutus and Lionette to him, dead or alive. This book suffers from the same problems as Metal Knight does. It seems to me that both Lionette and Metal Knight are written like it should be a TV show, not a comic. And on top of that, why did her boss try to kill her with the lion? Like, isn't she your moneymaker? It truly feels like this was added to be a shock factor to show how evil he is, but it just doesn't work to me. And Lionette is a German and a, I don't even know if I can see it on YouTube. Modern day, I don't know if it, can I say Israelite? I think I can. And they don't like Jesus at all. And when the others find out that she is, and I can't say what they are now because of YouTube, but when they find out that she is an Israelite, what their book says on the fate of Jesus, I'm hoping that Metal Knight and the Phantom Phoenix go in full in evangelist mode. That's just like a lore. I don't even know that the writer knows what they believe the fate of Jesus is. Their idea of where Jesus went is, it's really bad. I'm pretty sure they wrote it to mock him. I can't say who they are on YouTube. At least I don't think so, because every time I do hear people say what, like, the name, it's bleeped out. And these are like non-political YouTubers or non-religious YouTubers. They just, their friend is. I don't know how YouTube works on this whole thing. I don't know what I can and can't say really. But an Israelite, I guess, is the best I can say. I give Lionette a 5 out of 10. Mostly because the art is also really good. I love how the lion's drawn. Many artists, like myself, can't draw animals, but we can draw people, or vice versa. So I do really enjoy the artwork. Where the story could go, I hope it is. I really hope the second issue improves this. I know it's on the first issue right now. This doesn't really feel fulfilling as a book to read. It feels like it should be an issue number 0, not a 1. Or at least have Lionette use her gymnastic skills to fight off the clowns and join the line to escape their captors. Add some more action into this comic book, I feel should be needed. So these are going to be my, I guess, final thoughts on all 3 books. I do have another review for, not Voyage Comics review, but it's bonus comic I will show in a bit. All 3 of these heroes' stories take place in 1920s Chicago, and reading Lionette, there's a lot of references to the Phantom Phoenix, as well as newspapers about the Phantom Phoenix and Metal Knight issue 1's cover. So there's a big chance there will be a team-up book in the future, or at least their form of the Justice League, or Avengers, whatever inspires this writer the most. These comics are made for ages 8 to 12 and beyond, as they say on their website, but I don't see the Beyond showing up unless they make someone like Azrael, and I don't see that happening. But for the audience they're mainly going for, 8 to 12, I do believe they will enjoy it, and the audience will be there for it. The Phantom Phoenix is the best out of the 3. Metal Knight and Lionette suffer for only 2 reasons. 1, their origin story is the first issue, and the reader doesn't care about them yet. 2, we don't see them doing anything cool. These 2 books need some form of them fighting so we can see what kind of hero they are. But with how good Phantom Phoenix is, I have a high confidence that the stories will get better on their next issues. I believe issue 2 on Metal Knight should be an improvement because we know his mission to save his mom. And I don't know on Lionette because all I see her doing in the future issue is to keep on running away and looking for her brother, which we know who her brother is because he's on the cover of issue 4. So he's on the cover of Phantom Phoenix number 4. I haven't read it yet, but I honestly doubt he's going to die. I'm pretty sure that no one's going to die in like any of these books, really. When Lionette gets her second issue, I hope they can impress me on fixing the structure of it. The great thing about all these books is the 1920s lingo they added. It really helps you stay immersed into this world. And the art is good. I don't have any complaints. It is really good and engaging. I really love the art and paneling structure. Next, I was thinking how an origin story can be done on the first issue and be done correctly. And I remembered Adrenaline by Image Comics. This is a 4-part comic run that had the main character's origin story spread out through the 4, and it wasn't the whole book. It was separated by flashbacks. I would rewrite Metal Knight or Lionette going off Adrenaline issue 1 by having, let's say, Metal Knight on patrol and having someone or something remind him of how he became a hero and how his life changed forever. Making his origin story not being how the story started, but being a past memory that already happened and something's he's reflecting on. But obviously, Voyage Comics has a story they want to tell, and I do believe number 2 will be good. And if that is the case, Metal Knight should have been at least 5 more pages of him taking out at least 2 goons to show what the combat is going to look like in the future. Is he going to use a bat, or is he going to use his fists? I need to know. That's something maybe energy weapons, if he turns like an Iron Man type hero. I'm not sure. If you're interested in any of their superheroes that I have shown today, or are interested in their fantasy, saints, or church history related comics, go ahead and click my referral link in the description and get 10% off your order. Also, you can pre-order Francis, Herald of the Great King. It has been reviewed by Franciscans for historical accuracy. It has been written by Philip and drawn by classically trained artists with Nathan's and colors by Marvel and DC Comics artist J. David Ramos. And they have a synopsis here, which is Saint Francis of Assisi wanted to be a heroic knight, riding his horse in the battle to save the day. Born into a wealthy merchant family, Francis has everything he ever needed to achieve his dreams. Yet, just as he was about to ride off to seize his victory on the battlefield, God turned his life upside down. Instead of fighting for the earthly king, Francis was enlisted by a heavenly king. His quest for chivalrous life turned into a sacrificial mission as a poor herald proclaiming the gospel of the word and making way for the great king. Be inspired by a man filled with extraordinary joy in the face of every opposition, freely choosing to give up everything for the sake of the kingdom. If you pre-order this comic starting at $30, you can get benefits like a poster, signed copies, and even have you in the book. I truly loved their Saint comics. Their art is always amazing, and they are a great introduction to who these holy men and women are. So, once again, click my referral link in the description to get 10% off your order. And now, on to the bonus review. I present Power Mark by Power Mark Comics. I found this issue at Power Mark at a game store that used to be a comic shop, and issue 12 was the only one there. The previous owner left about 6 short boxes, and this was the only one, but I was able to find the graphic novel on Amazon, so when I have the money, I will try to buy it and make a full comic run breakdown. So do keep in mind that the Power Mark comics do use the NIV, which I said before is not a good version. It's not good translating the Bible. It removes books, it shoves books together, removes verses. It's not a good one. So, next on, we're going to move on to the story. Issue 12 begins with Power Mark finding out his sister, Trina, was the villain, Fang Sha. As the authorities take her away, Power Mark and his team wonder why his own sister would want to hurt him. Meanwhile, Ivan seems to be worried about something, to the point where he's sitting down in a cradle position. The other kids think that what just happened to Power Mark, something similar could have happened to his family, so they decided to send TJ to comfort him. Later, after being comforted, by the other kids, Ivan goes to see Power Mark and tells him that maybe his sister is feeling the same way he did with his brother, Peter. Maybe Power Mark's sister went down this path because of jealousy. When Power Mark finally gets to talk to his sister, he finds out that she was jealous of him, and they also find out that someone has been spiking her allergy medicine with rage, a drug which enhances any hostile emotion and turns them into nothing but rage. After that, he is called to the VRE deck, which Ivan finished with the help of the other kids, which is a surprise because he is usually a loner. I don't know what the point of the VRE is. All we see is that it can show you parts of the Bible. For example, in this issue, it replays the creation of the world and Adam and Eve. But because this is issue 12, I don't know the importance of it. After that, the story ends with all the kids reuniting with their parents and the villains prepping their next plan. So I'll start off with the art. Just like the Voyage comics art, it's really good. My only problem with Power Mark comics art compared to Voyage comics art is the teeth on the Power Mark comics. When anyone is talking, their teeth are always together, which just looks weird to me. Also, I have basically no idea what's going on, which is not the book's fault. It's that issue 12 is the ending of the first major arc, and it was the only one there. So when I get the graphic novel of issues 1 through 12, I'll make a review on it and a story, like a synopsis, like what I just did today with issue 1s. And so go ahead and subscribe and stay tuned for that. When I have the money, I'll go ahead and buy it. If you like what you saw today, please leave a comment, subscribe, and like. It really helps out. And if there's any like Catholic or Christian comics that you know of that I go ahead and leave a comment saying that, hey, cover this because maybe I don't know about it. But that being said, thank you for watching.
Ever seen a ram shoot before?
Don't give up!
I would have missed out if I stayed with my flock. How much was that?